we don't want to identify or have anything to do with the Igbos. Igbos are greedy, Igbos are selfish. Igbos has ruined our future, have ruined our opportunities to be great.
Wanda muke kira don girman Allah a raba Najeriya. Don girman Allah a taimake mu a raba Najeriya. Mu ina magana da yawun musulmi kuma ina magana da yawun 'yan arewa. Mu a matsayinmu na musulmi ba mu da buƙatar zama da inyamurai. Ba mu da buƙatar zama da inyamurai. Ibo ba abokin zama ba ne, ba mutanen arziki ba ne. Bari in ba ku misalai kaɗan don mu wuce. Ka duba ka ga yadda mutanen nan suke arziki a ƙasanmu. Na yi magana a ce wani hate speech. Ko ba ka ke cewa ba, wai hate speech.
To be prosperous, this is the position of an Hausa Islamic cleric. You can imagine ill-advising, instructing his own listeners or audience or subjects. That is quite unfortunate. Well, I think that is a good development, calling for the division of Nigeria by an Islamic cleric from the north, citing that they have nothing in common to do with the Igbos. The Igbos are people that are outcasts, that people that you don't even have to relate, associate, and live with. We are fed up. What have we to do with the oil? Of course, we have more advantage than they. We have to sell our cow, our cattle, our goats and sheep, our onions and cucumbers in exchange for the oil. It doesn't mean, but the important thing is that we must not live with them. We must not continue to cohabit with the Igbos. Igbos have been considered as a threat across entire regions of this country. We begin to ask and question what could be the veracity of these assertions. What could have prompted the people to have such hatred and dislike for the Igbos, despite that they are the most traveled across the nations, across the country. When you take statistics of the number of migrations of the Igbos across the north and the west, you begin to see that after the indigenous locals or people within every state, that the next most populated ethnic nationality is the Igbos. Why are they so much attracting such hatred and dislike? Some have accused them of being dominating or having that dominance threat or tendencies. Everybody has a level playing ground. Of course, after the Civil War, the most bloodiest Civil War, they were given 10 pounds, 20 pounds. Even those who are billionaires, those who are well-to-do, they are only issued 20 pounds. And you are not concerned or bothered. How will they recover? How will they survive? It was intended to subjugate and silence the Igbos, never to rise again. That was the conspiracy. That was the intention why, of course, Awolowo, not minding his action and contribution to the death of more than 3 million Biafrans during the war through starvation, he came up with the policy that robbed the entire Igbo people of their savings in the banks, in the Nigerian banks, of course, issuing them 20 pounds. And despite that, today they are being envied across the country and beyond. It is quite disturbing why an outside cleric could sit down. What he could only think is to craft, to imagine wickedness, to imagine evil, to imagine some disturbing, arguments, senseless arguments, citing that Igbos are dominant in nature. When they come, they occupy. Are they occupying for free? They are there to do business. What stops you from doing the same business? If you think you can strive, you can survive along, go into the business and let's see if you can endure the risk, you can take the risk. You don't know that every business has a risk. Sometimes you have to lose everything, but you do have the mind to endure. Why are they afraid? Why are they jealous? Why are they moved by this deep hatred for the Igbos? Well, calling for the Igbos to leave, for the Nigerian to divide for the sake of Igbo, could be a welcome development and a prayer answered. Why? Because Igbos have been clamoring for division. Igbos have been clamoring for their own country, where they will have a sense of belonging, where their inputs and contributions will be appreciated. If not appreciated, they will even appreciate themselves. So they have suffered and sustained so much loss across the nation. Their properties have been burned down, demolished, their lives have been lost. You can see mobs gathering to destroy, looting and cutting away with their properties and their business areas and concentrations. And yet this wasn't enough to deter the Igbos. And Igbo man believes that once there is life, there is hope. This have informed the reason for their doggedness, resilience, and undying spirit. They believe in so much in the future, and they believe that you cannot brag with them with whatever you have acquired, that once there is life, of course, the such could be surpassed. Now, not just the northern clerics, there have been some sponsored attack and censors from the southwest as well, even during the election and after the election, that the Igbos must go, Igbos must go, Igbos must leave. They are dominating, they are encroaching, they are grabbing. Are they grabbing it for free? You sold your land in exchange for money, of course, to solve one of two problems, or to do all one day, or to do whatever you feel it is your nagging need at that point. So you never gave it for free. They paid with their hard-earned money, resources. So how could you turn back to say that they have taken over your land, they are doing business, they are prospering in your own country, they are rendering service? And once you are engaged in service and delivery of service, you also have something in return. So the gap they are feeling could not be emphasized, but unfortunately what they are focusing is the antagonizing of the Igbos, who have made it possible that you can mingle and be free to move within the Nigerian state. How many people or ethnic nationality can travel wide as Igbos? They are the ones who believe in the Nigerian integration more than any other ethnic nationalities. But this has become a point of antagonism for others. So it is a welcome development and a prayer answered for me. I am not perturbed. Igbos are not disturbed by this development. Yes, let him call the more that Igbos should divide, and let it become an acceptable position by all Norths, because they understand that the value of the Igbos. Igbos are indispensable, and if you think otherwise, continue to push for the division of this country. I put it to you, regardless of how you feel, or you might consider that as taking it too far. Igbos are indispensable. Of course, wherever you travel, you don't see an Igbo man. Life does not exist there. Of course, you have to run for yourself. So for them to say how many Yoruba, how many Hausas and this, you can't carry shoemaker and you want to polish shoe. You come to the east. That is what you will do. If you also have your money for trade, for business, there are people who also are doing business, mostly Bureau de Change and the rest of them in the eastern part. Nobody stops them. So if you say we want to build a hotel, will anybody stop you? Have your money to buy the land and the other facilities to run your business. Nobody stops you. Nobody stops you because of your fear and hatred and hidden agendas makes you not to be free to move. Somebody who can trust you with their own money, resources, they develop your own region. I mean, contributes to the development of the region through their tax and other levies to the government, and attracting more immigrations, more population density. You see, where there is viability, where there is business running, you see, there is migration of people. You attract people, and people are developing other regions, and you're not satisfied or happy about that, rather than appreciating them for showing you the light and contributing enormously to the growth and the internal generated revenue of each state. And in Nigeria, in general, you are now antagonizing them, inciting your own people, brainwashing them that they should move against the Igbos. The Igbos have done that. They are greedy. They are this. Now let it start. Let the war. Let the, of course, the propaganda begin. Spread it. Igbos are indispensable. If you know that you can exist without the Igbos, why are you still waiting? Let the Igbos go now. I think you want them to go. Of course, they are ready to go. So let the Igbos go, and let Ahmed Bola Tinubu, the president, understand that it's high time that Igbos should go. Let them go. They have been asking for that for ages, and it is not a news coming from the north, but the approach they are using to antagonize and incite their own people, perhaps to begin another bloody massacre of the Igbos. You can't be having a people who, out of their ingenuity, doggedness, commitment, and industrious nature, have fent for themselves, have made themselves what they are with the help of God. You can't be envying them. Rather than copying, learning from them, being low, not being proud, study their antecedents, study their mode of operations, study their patience and threshold and the rest of them, how they are able to survive in this. You are rather antagonizing them. You can destroy whatever you have within your own locality if that you think that is the only way to go. They will also survive. What they need is the life and the enabling environment, and this is the reason why they have been calling that they need their own country. They need their own country, not just for joke. They know what they are asking for, because they feel themselves trapped and caged within this hostile and brutal society or environment they found themselves. So attack coming from here and there. You people have enjoyed, of course, politics. You have enjoyed the corridor of power. You have been in control of the Nigerian government for more than 40 decades. I mean, 4 decades or 40 years plus, or getting to half a century. You still have nothing to show for it. Were Igbos responsible for your misgovernance or misfortune in the north? Were they responsible for the attacks on your people and the ever-increasing IDPs within the northern parts? It's quite unfortunate. What your own people could not do for you, the Igbos are doing. Creating an enabling environment. How many of the north can be proud to say they have developed a very viable business in the eastern parts of the country? When you travel the world round, I mean, within the Nigeria, even in southwest, you will see Igbo-dominated markets that are remitting trillions to the state government's coffers on monthly and yearly basis. Trillions, running to trillions of nairas. How many of the houses have their base or markets that you can say this is generating billions of naira for the Igbos or the Igbo communities or states, and you are still envying them? For crying loud. Let this country divide, as that has been your wish. It is not about antagonizing them. You can't stop the people who God already has blessed. So you moving and sponsoring antagonistic statements or incitement cannot stop them. You are rather stopping yourself, and being stuck in the wheel of motionless and despair, wallowing in your own ignorance, while you are the one keeping yourself. Look at the Islamic scholars, I mean Islamic clerics. How many hospitals have you built for your own people? How many homes have you built? How many people have you empowered, I mean, to become independent? How many people, how many schools have you built to enlighten their people, to train them as medical doctors, I mean, and other professionals? You are not just concerned about the negative energy against the Igbos. It's quite shameful, it's quite laughable and disgusting for people who has rendered their own people impotent and useless, are the one attacking the Igbos. Rather than admitting their own failure and conspiracy against their own people, they are busy antagonizing the Igbos, who are only interested in their business and, of course, contributing to the welfare and the progress or growth of any environment they find themselves. You have not seen an Igbo going to attack or invade communities or their host communities. You have never seen that. It has never been in the history of the world, of Nigeria today. So why are you antagonizing them? Rather, they improve the living standards of those within the locality or their host communities. You see them building roads. You see them building some infrastructures, facilities, pipe bomb waters, sinking holes, boreholes for people to benefit. So what have you done for your people, let alone doing in the East? Your absence is felt even in your own region, let alone, of course, your presence is not even felt in your own region, let alone in the eastern part of the country. So you got to learn the hard way. Well, let the Igbos divide. And of course, that will be the only solution to this endless, insensible, antagonistic reactions coming from the north or that part of the country. Let the Igbos go, let the Yorubas go, and let the Hausas eat their cucumbers and carrots, and eat their own cows and whatever they think they have as an advantage over the Igbos, that Igbo can survive with. Take it, let them go their way. Igbo doesn't even need the oil to survive, you know. They have been in control majorly when it comes to the commercial hub. Of course, they drive the economy in every sector in this country, so it's not something to brag about. The evidence abounds there, and unfortunately, even the tomato you produce, you don't eat it. So they are the ones helping you to consume that. If they decide not to patronize you, of course, you know what that means. That will be counting losses in their billions. So you should rather appreciate the Igbos, and whenever you see an Igbo man, you salute him, because Igbo, it's not that easy to be an Igbo man. Their contributions, unfortunately, the Igbos are busy fighting themselves rather than forging a common front where they could achieve their aspirations and dreams, of course, of becoming a nation of their own. Well, that is the irony behind this. Whatever happens, let's get to know your own take regarding these reactions and development. Well, I'm full support. Let the Igbo go. Igbos must go. Igbos must go. They must go, because they have caused more problems for the North. They have taken over what belongs to the North, developing themselves, living large, while the North are eating gari, eating goat shit, and the rest of them. You can imagine that comfortability and sensibility in this. Let the Igbos go and eat their own pancake. They have nothing now. They are just a dot in a cycle. But I support the advocacy that Nigeria should part ways. Let the Igbos go, so that the North will have opportunity to take over whatever structures or facilities or properties of the Igbos in the North, and see if they can manage it. You know, Igbos lost virtually everything during the war. Everything was stripped. They were stripped of everything. I mean everything. Even their bank savings and the rest of everything, the opportunities and of course employment was stripped off. And today they are becoming of the talk of the day. It's quite it's a mystery. You get to understand this mystery. If not, then you continue to wallow in deep ignorance. But that will save you anyway, until you get to tell yourself the truth, that you are the problem of the northern people. Let's get to hear your own take.
Speech ɗin kawai muke yi, su kashe mu suke yi. Kwanan nan aka kama Igbo yana yin muryar Fulani yake yi, yana kashe mutane da sunan Fulani. Ba mu ba, Takumbo Asari ya fito ya ce babu wani Bafulatani da yake kashe mutane a ƙasar Igbo. Ƙarya ake, me yasa su Fulanin ba su kashe su ba? Me yasa kadai ƙasar Igbo suke kashewa? Ba gaskiya bane. Wannan wani sharri ne, in ji shi fa, wani sharri ne da Igbo suka kulla. Ba mutumin da yake da greediness, tsabagen son zuciya kamar Igbo. Duk inda ka zauna da shi sai dai ya cuce ka kafin ku zauna lafiya. Wannan yasa ba mu da bukatar zama da su. Sun cika Kano, sun cika Katsina, ga su a Sokoto sun cika Abuja, ga su a Naija, ko ina Ibo sun cika, amma su ba ka zama garin su ka zauna lafiya. Mun yi wannan kalubale kuma muna ƙara yi, a gwada mana wata kasuwa guda ɗaya wadda aka gina a ƙasashen jihohin Ibo wanda musulmi ɗaya ke da shago, wanda ɗan arewa ɗaya ke da shago. Idan akwai a nuna mana, muna son a nuna mana wani musulmi ɗan arewa da yake zaune a ƙasar Ibo yana zaune lafiya, a nuna mana shi. Kenan babu. Waɗannan mutane menene amfanin zama da su? Muna kira ga gwamnati a yi tsarin da za a yi don Allah a raba mu da Ibo, a raba mu da Inyamurai, su kama gabansu, mu kama gabanmu, a zauna lafiya. Irin wannan kisa da suke mana, kisan gilla, a nuna mana yaran mu kwance cikin jini, muna cewa mabiya su yi haƙuri. Wallahi akwai radda za mu sako su mu ce ku koya musu hankali. Ƙasar ta daɗe ba ta watse ba. Idan ku gwamnati ne sai ku gwada mana a ranar ku gwamnati ne. Kenan akan mu kuke gwada ku gwamnati ne. Wai ana cewa unknown gunmen sunansu kenan. 'Yan bindigar da ba a san su ba. Wallahi mu ma muna iya ƙirƙiran 'yan bindigar da ba a san su ba. Domin me abin da aka ce karen bana maganin zoman bana, to kaji haka karatun yake. Wannan abin da ake yi ana sane, gwamnonin Ibo, gwamnonin jihohin Ibo suna sane, da gangan suke bari ana kashe mutanenmu, da gangan suke bari, suna sane. Duk wanda ya ce ba sani ba ƙarya yake yi, sun sani. Gwamnatin tarayya tsoronsu kuke ji ko yaya ne? Idan faranmu ya ɓaci, al'amura za su ɓaci, kuma dole mu ga mu gaskiya. Ku kuma 'yan arewa, musamman manyan arewa waɗanda suke fama da mugun munafurci, wai mutum bai san Allah bane ar-Razzaqu, wai idan an rabu ba mu da man fetur din me? Menene ko man fetur? Ana magana imani, kana magana man fetur, saboda kai baka san Allah ba. Mu ɗauka ma ba mu da man fetur, sai me? Su kawo man fetur su saida mana, mu saida musu akuya, mu saida musu bunsuru, mu saida musu rago, mu saida musu shanu, mu saida musu masara, mu saida musu wake. Ciniki ba haramun bane. Idan Inyamuri zai shigo yankin mu sai yayi biza, idan muka kama shi ba biza mun nakaɗa mai ɗan uban kashi. Wallahi haka za a yi.